Hi everybody, it's F102, and today we're going about
Alright, let's try that again. Hey everybody, F-Bomb Fitzgerald here, and Smissmas just ended less than a week ago, and I think I've had enough time to properly give my impressions of the event as a whole, and kind of more generally my impressions of recent events that Valve has put on for TF2, usually for Halloween and for Smissmas. If you don't feel like watching the entire video, the short and dirty summary is, it really bothers me that Valve tries to get us excited for these events by, creating new crates, dropping new maps that are available only for 5 weeks or whatever the period ends up being, but they don't do anything about the bot situation. So we end up having 5 weeks of wanting to play new maps, but not being able to play them. And, Valve makes a ton of money off of the seasonal crates for these events, which is totally fine given that it is a free-to-play game that's, over a decade old and has been free-to-play for over half that time. But to me, it just smacks of such a waste of effort to create new maps, create new unusual effects, make the old maps available for 5 weeks, and then the actual event itself is completely unplayable. It just really feels like their priorities are completely off. I mean, sure, they're gonna make money off the new crates, but if they're gonna spend the effort to create new unusual effects and maps and all this other stuff, couldn't they at least do the bare minimum basics in addressing the bot issue? It kind of feels like if you came into $2,000 around the holidays and you had a flat tire in your car and you decided, hey, it's the holidays, let's buy a reindeer nose for my car and antlers and some seasonal air fresheners that smell like pine cones, but you don't spend any of that money on fixing the flat tire of your car. So now your car looks all festive, but what's the point in that if it doesn't drive and you can't show it to people? Similarly, they released 2 really excellent new maps during this event, which are no longer playable now. One of them is Frostcliff, which I'm showing the background here, and the other is Rumford. Those are both really fun maps, and I really wanted to play them every single day. I probably would estimate I played Rumford less than 12 times, and Frostcliff probably less than 7 times over the course of the entire event. And that's really saying something because I was very dedicated in trying multiple times every day to get into these maps, and no exaggeration, over 90% of the time I couldn't get a usable game due to bots. That puts a lot of pressure on you when you finally do get a bot-free match. This is your only chance potentially to make a video on, say, Whatville or Frostcliff. And that's the other thing too. I mentioned Whatville. Whatville is not a good map, but it is a map that is only available for 5 weeks a year. And hell, I'd like to be able to play on a bad map that's, only available for a limited amount of time. And I can't blame a lot of players for essentially giving up on the event literally a week into it, where they tried to play the new maps, they couldn't because they were bot infested, and then they decided, well, let's go play the non-Smissmas maps, the old maps. And actually what they found was a lot of times they had fewer bots on the old maps than normal because they knew all the bots were on the Smissmas maps. And I honestly couldn't blame them because I think that was the right move. I know that I wasted several nights trying to get playable matches on the new maps, and I just couldn't. Alright, well, I think I've kind of beaten that topic to death, and honestly it's just kind of depressing to me that this is event number 7 in a row that we've essentially had to suffer through not being able to play the event that just came out because Valve can't do the most basic bot prevention. And that's a subject for another video I'll do some other day. Anyway, let's end on a little bit more of a positive note. So some of the positives I would say are, I really thought that 2 of the new maps were fantastic. I loved Rumford, I loved Frostcliff. I hope some of the community servers will put those on their rotation. I would also say another positive is I thought the unusual effects for this event were a little bit better than some of our past event unusual effects, at least for the hats. For the taunts, I thought they were just okay. Regarding the cosmetics in the crates, I thought that this was actually one of the better crates we've gotten in a while. Certainly a lot better than recent Smissmas events where it was just too much, I don't know, seasonal crap that you never would wear outside of Smissmas itself, and probably not even during Smissmas. And in this crate this year, I think there was only 2 really silly items, the bulb for Soldier and the elite grade antlers, where honestly we have like 7 different antler cosmetics already in game. We did not need any more. But yeah, overall I thought that the cosmetics were pretty understated and, you know, good fit to the game. So I'd applaud Valve on that. Again, all of this though feels kind of like icing on a cake that's been dropped. So, you know, I don't want to pile on. I don't want to give too much credit to Valve for the good things that they did because it's kind of a moot point in the grand scheme of things. As for releasing the old maps on December 1st, you know, it's hard to give them too much kudos for that because that is literally a script that they put in their system to roll over whenever the calendar rolls over on October 1st and December 1st. So that is literally zero effort on Valve's part. I do kind of like how they stagger the new maps and the old maps, so you can kind of get a little excited for the event by playing the old maps, though the old Smissmas maps are pretty uniformly terrible. So here's the part of the video where I just throw out a couple wild and crazy ideas that are probably not feasible, but you know, I would like to think might make future Smissmas events a little bit better or more fun. So my first idea is for all of the reskin maps. Oh, sorry, I was watching my kill streak there in the background. Anyway, so for all the reskin maps, I would love to see some sort of kind of equivalent to a Turnaween, where you could have a server vote to turn on Halloween mode if enough people vote, and you would use like some sort of item. Similarly, I think it would be super cool if we had like a map, you know, Eventaween or whatever, where you'd be able to use an item, and if a map has a seasonal reskin like Snowfall versus Landfall or Coal Pit instead of Gravel Pit, where if enough people voted, the map could change over to its seasonal equivalent. I think that would be pretty neat. The other idea I had for Smissmas is contracts. Like the contractor exists, creating map-specific contracts that are fairly generic, but would still encourage people to play the new maps. I think that would be pretty cool, even if it's something as basic as, you know, score points on such and such map. If you wanted to tie it more into the event, you could even do something like use a gift uphold or use a secret Saxton, you know, something like that. And my final thought on Smissmas and how to make it a little bit better would be either add Strangifiers for a bunch of weapons that we got during Jungle Inferno, which don't currently have Strangifiers, things like the Dragon's Fury or the Second Banana. And if Valve isn't willing to do that, maybe they could just make like festive variants of those weapons and allow the festive variants to be strange. I would take that one happily as well. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought of this year's Smissmas, and if you thought any of my ideas might work to improve the event in the future. I hope you're having a great day, thanks for watching, and thank you to everybody who subscribed. See you all in the next video.